G'day guys, welcome back. Obviously a little bit overdue for a video, so it's time to smash out yet another one and tell you all about the progress that's being made. So a little bit more behind than I would like to have been, but we're making ground and there's things that have been getting done. So over the last week or two, I've been catching up some footage, doing some footage of what's been going into the car. I'll throw up that now and then we can get into talking about what has been going on. So obviously, as you can see there, laying on all the paint on those flares, the nose cones, been doing the boot, I just wanted to touch on the color. So the color that I've chosen is the Loner Ranger. It is a direct gloss, so you could apply that color and then not clear it, but I've chosen to still put a clear over that. All the product being used is ProTech. It's all purchased from All Type Paints at Salisbury. It's coming out really good. The flares were a little bit tricky. I mean, there's something that's obviously fiberglass and it has come out of a mold. It's not perfectly flat, but it's starting to come out really good. I've pulled a couple of pieces back into the shed as I've pulled them out of this shed and put them over into another shed. So while I'm doing painting and priming, whatever we've got to do, they're not getting covered in crap. So I'll spin the camera around and show you a couple of them all done. It come out really good. Pretty happy with the finish. They were a little bit dusty, so I've given them a quick wipe. Don't know if it'll show up in the camera, but a couple of little bits and pieces here and there in the paint, but very minor. And I think that I'll get away with probably not having to block every single piece. So if that would be doable, I'd be very happy, because obviously the less blocking you have to do, the better. But yeah, starting to come out really good. I'm very happy. Nose cone, done that the first time. It did come out a little bit dry, so I just left that and then come back to it later, rubbed it back a little bit, and then went over it again with the orange, and then obviously clear coated it afterwards. So everything's been like flow coated, so to speak, but that's starting to look really good as well. That's just off of the gun. It needs to probably be wet rubbed and then polished in sections before, but it's coming out really good, really stoked. It's starting to look really good. The color looks really good under the light. This is the other flare. Obviously it's got a little bit of crap on it from either a bug or whatever, but just try and give you a perspective of how it looks under the light. And then just done these like the drip rails, gutter rails, whatever you want to call them, off of the rear. Been doing some satin black stuff. Obviously, like I said, I haven't got all the flares over here, but that's a rear one. A little bit of peel in it, no, nothing to worry about, but we'll get those polished up and they will start to come out really good. I did do the boot obviously as well, so I've painted the inside of the boot now in color. That's starting to look really good, and then applied a clear coat over that as well. It's all sealed up, and then I've just grabbed this front spoiler piece to show as well. So got a couple of marks, or a couple of runs I reckon of clear, but they come out really good. I'm very happy. I did these just holding them with gloves, but for my first real decent paint job overall with the body kit, it's starting to come out good. Obviously the main piece left to do is the body. We'll spin the camera around and talk about that too. So obviously the body, as you can see, is very similar to last, but the whole car has been blocked back now. Obviously you can see in the middle here, the guide coat that's still there, that's where the masking tape was. So we've been masking up the body and working towards sanding away or towards the body line, both vice versa. The roof is close, I'm happy with that. It probably needs one more coat of primer. As you can see, it's dirty as it's been getting pushed down to the sun each day, just to try and let it cure as best as possible. And obviously, as you can see as well, been putting a lot of zinc back into the car, so I had some zinc plating done. And I'll show you some of the insides of the doors. Have been putting them back together with the hinges, and it's looking killer. So I've got all of the hinges back on all the doors. As you can see, all new hardware as well, split washers and flat washers, starting to look really good. Just started to put some of the door trim clips back in. Doors look really good in the sun, only the inside, but Dad's helped clean up all the locking mechanisms, and they've been put back in with some new screws and hardware. As you can see also, these doors all have a fresh coat of satin black around the tops of the door frames, which is mainly where obviously once the doors are on the car, it's just much easier to do it now. So all of these get covered, I believe, in vinyl anyway. So the door trims before only went to the top, and then the rest was color. So we're gonna do it black door trims like SLR, and then the top will get covered in a vinyl anyway. New hardware in these as well, so we've got windows mechanisms and the door opening mechanisms all cleaned up and put back in. It's all that little stuff like that that's been taking some time, getting the door locks all in, and then the door hinges, making sure that everything's not seized and everything's working and functioning properly. Satin black is all done in eggshell satin black. That come out really good. I'm happy with that. that's quite a good, obviously it's quite a common product to use, so happy to stick with that. I've also been doing the bonnet. Now the bonnet scoop that was on this bonnet originally was just put on too far forward, so I've gone along and started prepping a bit of the bonnet, so all those holes that were in there from the scoop before, they had to be welded up. Now it's only just bare metaled and then scuffed back now, but they come out really good. This is just the underside, obviously. I've just left a hole there from where the hole was underneath. Wanted to tap that out a little bit so that can get welded up now, and then all the rest, they've all been welded up. Be good to get this all done, because then once this is all paint stripped, can get towards getting this one of the last pieces left to do along with the body. So like I said, it's getting there, but it's all these little 1%ers that are taking up all my time. The masking, the hardware, putting the hinges on. The doors are pretty much ready to be hung. So then once the doors can go back on the car, we can hang them, get the gap set killer, and then start blocking the outside of the doors and to the quarters, get this body straight, along with the guards also, obviously. Couple of things that have been slowing me up, obviously, over the last couple of weeks, just been getting stuff ready, getting paint, getting stuff organized like the fasteners. And as you can, I don't know if you have seen it, but in the background we've got the VL is outside, so it's literally been sitting in the shed for, I don't know, since I kind of got back from Perth. I did roll racing, I think, in it once, drove it around on the street a few times, and it's been sitting. So intended not to spend a whole heap of money on the car since running the 7. I ticked off a big box of mine and was very content with leaving the car how it is. Obviously it needs some further safety upgrades to continue racing the car deeper into the 7. So, but of course things change, and Jamboree was coming up. Once that was added a bit of spanner in the works. So obviously we've got the new Tail and Bend racetrack coming, and that's opened up now. Obviously this week drag challenges started. I was pretty content with not doing drag challenge because I've already done that once before, tick that off. Would be great to do it again, but obviously it's a pretty expensive week. So wanted to really get behind and support Jamboree, as obviously I've wanted to always do it. Have missed out on going to Sydney a couple of times with COVID and then for other reasons. So now's the right time. The car's dialed in. We've got some testing coming up, and I've just been doing some minor suspension changes. So I'll spin the camera around and we can talk about those. So after a few months sitting in the shed, you will be able to see that this thing is fairly filthy. So it's due for a good clean. But what I was getting at with the car, obviously, wanted to speak about these. I am running a Pro 9, which is from John Lang over in Melbourne, these front struts. Now, been testing out a few changes and just wanted to check the rebound, and stumbled across a bit of an issue. I didn't know if it was right or wrong, so I've been talking with John and discussing the rebound issue that I was having, where I wanted to see what it was like on full loose and full tight, and it didn't seem to change no matter what I did. So I'd have the car jacked up on jack stands, jack the wheel all the way up, set the rebound full tight, and would obviously expect the strut to rebound quite slow, and they were just dropping away straight away. I'll throw up a video I think I got on my phone for you to understand exactly what I'm trying to talk about. Full tight. So in the meantime, I had already booked to do a test day, which is coming up at the Bend the day after drag challenge. So that's only 2 weeks before Jamboree. Obviously wanted to be able to do some testing on the car without spending a fortune on testing as well. So the Bend's holding a test day on the anyway, it's the day after drag challenge. It's on a Sunday. So I sent these off last week on a Wednesday. John got them by Friday, and I was fortunate enough that a good friend of mine, Todd Foley, and Jay were coming over from Melbourne to do drag challenge, and they picked them up for me on Sunday. So without them, I probably wouldn't have them ready to go in, but he's checked them out, he's serviced them, freshened oil and freshened up the oil, in them, and he says they're sweet. So that's ready to go. I haven't changed anything else really on the car visually or modified anything. It's actually probably more street now. The only thing really for me left to do is put the side intrusion bars back in for the cage. And as you can see, I've also changed my rear barrels back to black, how they were back in 2018. Just something to change it up a bit. I did like the black, and the polish was getting a bit hard to keep up on, which was, honestly, it was a good look, but the black's much easier. And I did them literally in acrylic satin black, and they come out absolutely mint. So I was going to powder coat them, but I didn't want to sandblast them. And if I ever want to go back to polished, I can literally just paint strip them and then get them polished, and they'll be fine. So I've done that. Side pipes back on. I'm leaving the headlight in it without the hole in it because I'm not chasing ET at the moment. I just want to test out the 60-foot and half track, and if we can get that faster, I'll see how we go at Jamboree. But it would be really good to run consistent 8.1 8.0s. If I have to pull a little bit of boost or power out, I would do that, and we'll see how we go later on. Obviously, if I want to go faster, I wanted to really chip away at the 60-foot and see how low I can get that before it obviously becomes pointless or it wants to wheel stand. So personal goal of mine, and really just wanted to get behind and support Jamboree. So in the meantime, they have the Top Fuel event coming up, which is literally next weekend. So the week after coming, there's probably 350 plus entrants of that. So I was pretty keen to go and watch. I'm going to sit that one out. I don't think I would be able to get too many runs, but I hope the night runs smoothly for everyone involved there. And you're not sitting in your car for ages. It's a brand new facility. It's got lots of new volunteers helping out. So it's people have to obviously be a little bit patient there and just understand. So went up there last week, checked the facility out at the start of Drag Challenge. And the place is, it's definitely a wow. I'm impressed. There's not much to, obviously, you can whinge about it being too far away or it's all uphill, whatever, but there's so many positives to come out of it. And I can't wait to go up there myself and race the VL. So anyway, the last few things I need to do on the car now is obviously those side intrusion bars for the cage can go back in. I'm gonna get it wheel aligned this Friday coming because I've only ever wheel aligned it in the shed on the hoist with a string. That's all how I've ever done all my cars, and obviously since putting the front struts back in, I really want to get it down to Michael SA chassis and get a wheel alignment done. So I'll get to doing that this week, and hopefully it's pretty close. If not, he can modify it and get it all sorted, and we can get to the track and run maybe a PB to the 60.5. So we'll see how we go. There's a couple of us heading up to race. There'll be a few guys, obviously locals, from wanting to test before the Top Fuel meet. So I'm thinking there's going to be a few cars out there on Sunday. If you're not doing anything, come along. I think you can purchase spectator tickets online from Dragway at the Bend, or Dragway at the Bend, I think it's called, on Facebook. So check it out. Come along if you want. And yeah, I think you'll be very surprised. And the facility is amazing. We've been dying for this for a good 15-20 years. We haven't had drag racing competitively in SA for quite some time, so we're in much need of it. So if you can get behind it, support it, the track will love everyone for it. So yeah, thanks for tuning in on this one. It's just a little video, keep you updated on what's going on. We're getting close to getting color on the car, but just got to keep persisting and try and smash them out. And hopefully by the next video we'll have some color on it, or if not, we'll keep you updated anyway. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all on the next one. Cheers.